Pro Rule, when is PvE tier list coming out?
Oh, perfect timing. I was just working on the PvE tier list. Come on, let's go over it together.
Oh yeah, and this time around, can you tell me some good treasures to use for the PvE section?
Oh yeah, I can go over some treasures and also talk about some things that you want to keep in mind for PvE section then.
Awesome, thanks Pro Rule. Can we get into it now?
Alright guys, so let's quickly go over the PvE tier list and some of the changes that I have made, as well as add in the new wedding cake as well as Black Forest cookie before we go into treasures that I do recommend. Just keep in mind this tier list does not include the guild boss battle, and I will actually make a separate guild boss battle tier list later down the line.
Oh, finally, a guild boss battle tier list.
Alright, so let's go over it quickly. Stay away from Sonic all the way down to Moon Rabbit. Did not change. C tier from Candy Diver to Red Velvet also did not change. B tier from Clotted Cream all the way down to Cherry Blossom also did not change. A tier we have Pitaya all the way down to Red Asmanthus. And then the situational is something that I do want to kind of talk about from Linzer down to BTS. So out of all of these cookies right over here, the two cookies that you kind of do want to just at least know what they actually do is going to be Linzer as well as Mint Choco. So Linzer Cookie is a very special and unique support inside of the game because her debuff is the only thing that actually goes through all of the boss's immunity status. So her debuff is going to allow your cookies to do more damage as well as take less damage because it decreases the attack of the enemy, as well as increase your crit and crit damage buff. So Linzer is a support that you do want to keep in mind. Not going to be great for everything, but in certain cases like from the Strawberry Cake Tower, Linzer can definitely help out. Mint Choco is another one that definitely can be helpful with a lot of different stages, especially paired with someone like Creme Brulee because of the fact that Mint Choco is a cookie that's going to increase the overall attack speed by up to 80% and also does have a decent amount of healing and things like that. So just keep these two cookies in mind.
Oh, I'll definitely keep them in mind, Pro Rule.
The rest of them are Zap, Purify, Damage Link, Attack Up, Healing Reduction, Flat Out Stat Increase, as well as a cookie you cannot get anymore. Alright, next one is going to be S tier here from Golden Cheese all the way down to Prune Juice with Black Sapphire down to Rockstar. So I actually brought up Rockstar and Cotton for the S tier. And also I do want to let you guys know the reason why some of these poison cookies are actually lower in the tier list compared to what they are inside of Guild Boss Battle is because of the fact that inside of the World Exploration and a lot of the different stages, poison is not a debuff that the enemies actually take. So a lot of enemies and bosses are immune to poison. So even though they perform well inside of something like Red Velvet Dragon, doesn't mean that they're going to be great in regular PvE because poison damage just is not going to be sufficient enough, or it just won't have any effect. And then moving on to the SS tier is going to be from Awakened Golden Cheese down to Nutmeg Tiger, and then we have Star Coral down to Icicle Yeti. So these cookies right over here, I actually did bring up someone like Moonlight as well as Crimson Coral and also Fettuccine Burnt Cheese as well, and also Tartatan in this particular case. I felt like Crimson Coral is still a very good overall single tank you can use, so I brought her up. Moonlight is actually not terrible inside of PvE as well, and also does do pretty decent damage the more and more you invest into her. As well as, someone like Burnt Cheese Fettuccine, very good epic tank without magic candy. Tartatan still a pretty good, damage dealer overall for PvE stages. So I did bring all of those up as well into the SS tier. And then lastly, let's go into the OP tier. So we have from Shadow Milk with Burning Spice, Mystic Flower, Awaken Pure Vanilla, Awaken Dark Cacao, as well as Wind Archer, Creme Brulee, Rebel. We have Pudding Island Mode, Twizzy Gummy, Black Lemonade, as well as Cream Ferris. So I actually did bring up Creme Brulee. I put Creme Brulee in the SS tier mainly because of the fact that there are stages that Creme Brulee is not just going to be sufficient enough for. And the reason why is because he just is meant for bosses, right? Single hit damage is where he excels. But because of the fact that it seems like people are just kind of sleeping on Creme Brulee, especially for something like Tray 40 for the Strawberry Cake Tower, I actually brought up Creme Brulee because Creme Brulee alone will be able to clear most of the PvE stages for you guys, and you should definitely not be sleeping on him. Also, as you guys can see, the Beast cookies are still definitely OP. Mystic Flower can still be better than Awaken Pure Vanilla in some of the stages inside of PvE as well. Some of the stages, Pure Vanilla just excels more than Mystic Flower as well. I would say they're very on par for the PvE stages. Dark Cacao Awaken is still really good because of his skill. His skill can definitely be very helpful in certain situations, as well as he just does pretty good damage inside of the PvE. Wind Archer is kind of like Creme Brulee excels way more in dealing area damage additional to, single hit damage. We have Rebel with Decoy, defense down, as well as elemental damage up. And then we have the Electric Cookies. And then we have Cream Fairy, who's going to allow your DPS to just do way more damage than they're supposed to do because of her buff. And the healing is great too. But now let's add in the 2 new cookies, our wedding cake cookie, into like maybe the A tier. I'm going to put Black Forest in A tier as well. So as you guys can see, overall PvE, these 2 cookies are not that great. They can be used, but probably not going to be something that you want to use, especially by themselves. And they really just excel in guild boss battle with the Living Abyss, and their entire kit is basically revolved around that, so just keep that in mind.
Wait, Pro, don't forget about the treasures you promised me.
Oh, I almost forgot. Let's get into it.
Alright, so for PvE, there are going to be 3 main treasures that you're going to want to use, as well as 3 additional sub treasures that you can use for specific situations. And if you keep this in mind, you'll probably be able to beat most of the stages without too many problems.
Awesome, let's hear it.
So let's first go over the 3 most important treasure. First one is going to be the Jelly Watch. Of course, the best recommendation is if you do not have a level 12 Jelly Watch, then please go and use a common one. The reason why is because although you're going to be missing out on a bit of attack, you're going to be gaining a lot more cooldown, and cooldown is going to be very important for PvE because you being able to use the skill 1 or 2 more times will make a difference whether you actually clear the stage or not. So again, Jelly Watch is going to be the top priority for about 99% of all of the stages, and level 12 is what you want to focus on. And then other 2 very standard, very important treasures are going to be your scroll as well as your whistle. So the scroll is going to be just flat out attack for you guys, maxing out about 60% at level 12. So you can see that it does make a very significant increase in your overall power, which means more damage as well as more healing. And also the whistle is going to be very good for not only your cookies receiving more crit, as well as 2 of your highest attacking cookie getting more attack and damage resist buff as well. So it is going to be very important for you guys to focus on these 3 treasures. Other treasures that are going to be beneficial for you guys in certain stages include something like the Explorer's Monocle, which also has a very short cooldown, but is going to allow you to cleanse debuff, so purify, restore some HP for you, and also increase defense and debuff resist, and that also stacks up to 2 times. Other ones are going to be something like the Feather. Feather is going to allow you to have that 1 extra revive, and if you do have Pure Vanilla Awaken, that's 2 revives for your team as well. And then the last one that I want you guys to at least keep in mind is going to be the Enchanted Robe. The Librarian's Enchanted Robe is going to allow your 2 cookies with the highest attack speed to gain even more attack speed. So someone like Wind Archer as well as Creme Brulee are going to really benefit from this treasure, and will be definitely beneficial for any of the bosses with hit shields, which means that you have to hit them specific number of times before that shield goes away. Other honorable mention are going to be something like the Scythe, which increases crit, as well as the Rare Scroll, which increases attack but also defense as well. Can help, but in most cases the Epic Scroll will just be better for you guys to get even more attack.
Cool, I'll keep those in mind.
So again guys, these treasures are going to be the things that you really want to focus on. Please use treasures. If you don't have treasures, you're just hurting yourself, you're just making it harder for yourself, you are going to want to quit. Please use treasures, use your mileage points that you get from doing gacha and spend it on treasures, alright? And then for an example team, you guys can use something like this. Of course, it's not going to beat every stage, and you do want to level them up. You don't be stuck at level 30. And quickly, I just want to let you guys know 2 types of damage cookies.
What do you mean by that?
There's a cookie who excels at single target damage, and a cookie that excels at area damage, and also a cookie that kind of does both, all right? And a good example is going to be Golden Cheese as well as Dark Cacao, great at dealing area damage. Someone like Creme Brulee excels at dealing single hit damage, so good for bosses. And then someone like Wind Archer as well as Shadow Milk kind of excels at both, which means that you can definitely use them for bosses and just regular stages as well. So keep those knowledge in mind, guys. Of course, you want to look at specific videos for team building and things like that. But I did also want to just mention it because people do ask about these things, and people just forget about it sometimes too.
Thanks, Pro Rule.
Well, anyways, guys, I hope you guys found the video helpful. That is going to be it for the PvE tier list, as well as some of the things that you want to focus on for the PvE section, like the treasures and certain roles for the cookies. If you have any questions, please leave it down in the comments below. But once again, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys all in the next video.